Okay. So now one of the things that I do whenever someone comes to me in the first session is I check and make sure they're not in the stress response. Because often what happens is people go into therapy or they go about their day and they don't realise that they're in the stress response, and so the frontal cortex is shut down and you're in emergency mode and you don't have access to all of your thinking functions, and you don't have access to the whole of the brain, and you don't necessarily make the best decisions, or you can't, if you're in a therapy session, actually can't process what you need to, or step out of your comfort zone to explore more things or process more things because you're in that emergency mode. And it doesn't matter how much you cognitively understand something, your system can't be in it because of it being in the stress response. So to me, this should be compulsory for all therapists to understand and do with their clients, because very often clients are left bracing and just being the good client and doing as they're told, and actually it's not transferring into their life because they're still in the stress response. So we're going to find out if you're in the stress response right now, and show you how quickly and easily we can get the brain back out of the stress response. That's always the first step. The first step, get your brain out of the stress response. And then the second step that I always teach people is then teach mind-body effective tools to process it, not distract from it, but to actually process it in ways that feel satisfying. But we need our brain connected to be able to process. So that's the essential thing, like the foundation of a house.
This is great.
Yes.
I feel like I've been unconscious for a long time, and I can see you saying things to me, and I'm like coming alive again.
Fantastic.
This is great.
Yeah, this is why I actually called my business Activating Artemis, because we all need activating our brain, activating our energy system, activating our choices. There's so much we can do, but as a society, we're not taught what we can actually do. And unfortunately, most counsellors, psychologists, the training is very, very superficial. It is superficial.
Yeah.
And so unless they've done further training, and I'm not talking about weekend training or short courses, I'm talking about in-depth. Like I spent 4 years beyond my bachelor's qualification learning about trauma and the brain and the unconscious and the defense system, and there are essentials within that all therapists and all people, we all should know how to be in charge of our own brain and body. But let's get on with finding out what's happening in your brain today. And the way we do this is the brain talks to the body and the body talks to the brain, and there's always that communication going back and forwards. So what I'm going to get you to do is just imagine an X. Now I can draw an X if you prefer, but just can you get one with your eyes open while we muscle test?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so just giving me your arm so I can muscle test. So can you just imagine, see, feel or sense an X? Have you got that?
Yeah.
And hold. That's weak. Now wipe that away and bring in 2 vertical parallel lines, like from the floor to the ceiling.
Yeah.
And hold. Okay. So did it feel the X was weak and the 2 vertical lines was solid? Could you feel that?
I felt the lines were solid.
Yeah.
The X was weak.
Yes.
Yeah.
We want it reversed.
Oh, okay.
I'll show you now. So this is my picture of the brain. Yeah. This is like the 2 hemispheres and the corpus callosum, the nerve fibres that feed the information between each hemisphere. Yeah. And you might know each side of the brain controls the opposite side of the body. So there's a natural crossover pattern that happens. Yeah. And so we did the X, and your system didn't recognise that crossover pattern. It was weak. Yeah. Then I got you to do the 2 vertical lines, the parallel lines, which your system was solid for and connected to. Yeah. So what I've got, as you can see here, there's less connections here. When we're in stress and overwhelm, our system disconnects because our system says, I can't take in all this input because I don't know what to do with it. I have to disconnect. It's too much. As soon as that disconnect happens between both hemispheres, that's what sets the alarm off in our brain-body system to go into our stress emergency mode. And so that then means that our system runs homolatry, and we've got blood moving to different parts of the brain and different parts of the body to be in the emergency mode. So even though you're quite functional right now, your system is here. So if we were actually going to do a therapy session, you wouldn't be in an optimal place to get the most out of what we could do. Yeah, you wouldn't be able to enter into it as deeply and get the most out of it. So what we're going to do is, because we can't just tell ourselves to not be stressed, because otherwise we would have all done it, yeah? But because our system recognises patterns, we can match these patterns. And so maybe we will what we're going to do is I will tell you how to fix this pattern.
To the
Yeah. So we're going to match this pattern. And that's marching on the spot, same arm, same leg. So it's a bit like a soldier marching. So we'll stand up shortly. And then we're going to march opposite arm, opposite leg to match this pattern. And then we'll muscle test again. But we might stop the video and we'll do it again just to give people a break if they need a break. And then we'll come back to the marching. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.